You better mess with our Sonic fans. We change our voice actors regularly and still get pissed about it. We love Sonic the Hedgehog, don't we, guys? Big fan. Ever since the Advanced series, I've been a big fan of your work, Mr. Hedgehog. When it comes to the series as a whole, there's so many debates to be had. Adventure 1 or Adventure 2? Japanese soundtrack or US soundtrack? Tan Arms or Blue Arms? And most importantly, can you in fact classify the Sonic universe as Hot Chick Heaven? All debates that we'll solve another day. But for now, we're taking it straight to the top.
Sonic the Hedgehog 1, the classic. No one talks about this game at all. Everyone always talks about Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic Mania. No, we're talking about Sonic 1, the OG. The one that started it all, okay? That's the one we're talking about today. I've got a tier list for Sonic 1's levels, Sonic 1's music, and then Sonic 1 8-bits levels, Sonic 1 8-bits of music. I played Sonic Adventure on the GameCube, and if you got enough emblems on the GameCube, you unlocked some of the old Sonic games, the 8-bit ones. That's how I played Sonic 1 8-bit, and I actually love that game. I think that game's fantastic. Without further ado, we're getting green. We're getting green up in here, like weed, guys, like weed. Like weed. Are we downloading weed? Are we downloading weed? Weed. But yeah, what's there to say about Sonic, the Green Hill level that we have said loads of times? I think this is like the level that sold us on Sonic, and I think Tiago brings up a good point here, right? There has been a tragic case of overusing this level. There really has. But we'll address that in a second, right? Let's talk about how iconic this level. This is like the 1-1. This is like the iconic Sonic level, right? You can't hate Green Hill, can you? You can hate that it's a bit overused in the modern day, but I think one thing I have to give this game this level credit for. This was the level that sold us all on Sonic, but there's also the level that doomed Sonic as well, and I'll explain why. After this level, Sonic 1 actually becomes very platform heavy, right? Because it's a platform, it makes sense. But because of Sonic's unique skill set in that he can go really, really, really fast, as a result, it kind of split everyone into two camps. Is Sonic supposed to be fast, or is Sonic supposed to be a platformer? But that's a debate we'll solve another day. But for one thing I do have to say is that it did a good job. It did a good job of setting the tone. A fantastic first level. Every time you pick this up, you enjoy it. The poor guy didn't get to go into the bonus level here, poor guy. I think the same can also be said for the 8-bit rendition as well. The 8-bit rendition also does a fantastic job of like being a fun level too, you know? It's so nostalgic looking at this. It really is. But this level, oh, is he gonna do the thing? I'll do the thing! What? Oh, come on! Is he not going to do the thing? Like, there's an arrow here deliberately so that you can, like, zoom and then, like, go just like you can in the 16-bit version. He doesn't do it. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it's that iconic. I think it deserves to be in S tier. I think it deserves it, honestly. If you boot up Sonic 1 and you play Green Hill Zone, you're going to have a good time. 8-bit rendition, I think, also does a really good job of setting the tone. I think it's just the same as the 16-bit version. It does a really good job of, like, setting the tone. I really like playing through this version in both games, the 8-bit and the 16-bit renditions, personally. Green Hill, great. But the music, though, the iconic music, what is that melody? Oh, yeah, turn it up in your headphones, guys. Turn it up. Because there's no debate about this, right? We're not debating about this. We're not debating about this. Because there's no debating about how good this track is. There's none. Especially this bit. This bit's my favorite bit here. There's the like and then there's the like there's like so much going on. Like, you know what I mean? It's so good. It's so good, isn't it? It's just so good. Now the question is it in the fire tier or is it in the T-Lopes tier? There's one that I know is going to be in T-Lopes, but is it this one? Is this one going to join it? That's the question. I'm going to say so. I'm going to say so. It's just that iconic. It has to. It has to. And even the 8-bit rendition as well. Even that one is like really. Listen. Like you still have like layers happening, you know? It's an S tier. It's S tier. I got nothing else to say. I got nothing else to say. I was hoping to be that guy and say it's not S tier, but I can't be that guy. I just can't be that guy. The original's better. I think they're both fantastic. I played a lot of Pokemon, like 8-bit Pokemon games, so like I have a soft spot for like 8-bit renditions of music, but I think they're both just as good as each other, honestly. I come and didn't choose one. I chose friendliness today. What is next, gamers? Everyone's favorite zone. We love Marble Zone. He starts to act. He skipped out one. All zones, Sonic the Hedgehog. He skips out one Marble Zone. Is that like a foreshadowing as to how we feel about this? Marble Zone. Spicy, I need to ask you a question. Like, I'm actually not being a dick, right? Because I played the Origins collection 2 weeks ago. That's how recently I've played this game. How long has it been since you played Marble? Years? Okay, that explains it. But see, that's weird. I'm seeing a lot of, like, simpery for Marble. I like Marble Zone. I do like Marble in a way. What is good? I wasn't expecting this kind of reaction when I saw Marble Zone. I was expecting like universal boos from all of you. I really was. I'm disappointed. But your softness on Marble Zone isn't going to affect me because it's only shit, okay? It's only shit. It's not the worst. Yeah, but that's not really an accomplishment though, is it? Like, yeah, getting punched in the face is not as bad as getting stabbed, but they're both fucking shit, aren't they? Oh, it's not the worst. That's how you sound, Philly. That's how you sound. Marble Zone is shit. Let's not pretend. Worst part is, I'm not even one of those, oh, Sonic's fast, so as a result, he's supposed to be fast all of the time. No room for slow platforming. That's no good. I'm not even one of those. I'm not even one of those. I like it when Sonic slows down the pace and does platforming. Not like this. This sort of thing isn't that bad, you know? Because if you're like clever enough, you can skip the lava, carry you across if you're, you know, brave enough to, you know, brave the elements. These parts here that I don't like. This part's okay. This shit. Where is it? But it's these slow ass spiky chandeliers. There's so many of them in Act 1. I'm telling you, like, I've only seen one so far in Act 2. There's so many of them in Act 1, I promise, but this fucking video skipped it. You have to just sit there and just wait and wait and wait and then wait again. And oh, look, there is more. Look, you just have to wait and wait. And if it wasn't for that invincibility, he would have just had to stand there for like what feels like a fucking year. I promise you, Act 1 has way more of them. Act 2 doesn't do it justice. This dog, it's actually so bad. I'm skull emojiing it. I don't ever want to play this zone ever again. I just don't want to play it. The 8-bit rendition was like, do you know what? Marble Zone is really shit. They did a Bridge Zone instead. Yeah, is Bridge better than Marble Zone? Yes. I mean, if you told me like, would you rather play Marble Zone and insert any other zone, except maybe Sandopolis?
Because this all sucks!
I'm probably going to prefer to play anything other than Marble Zone, to be honest. Bridge Zone is okay. It has this like decent gimmick where this scale thing is kind of cool, I guess. I don't know what this guy's having a little, yeah, he's having difficulty with the concept. Yeah, you're supposed to do that. And then one more, and then one more. There you go. There you go, son. There you go. Like, as much as I gave Marble Zone shit, this game isn't going to escape my fury neither. I don't know who looked at Sonic and was like, yeah, we need an auto-scroller. Yes. In my fast-paced platformer, we need an auto-scroller. Because for Act 2, that's exactly what they do. It's a slow-paced auto-scroller. Whose idea? I just want to know. I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk to him. Okay, I just want to know. Again, he's having very difficulty with this concept. I just want to talk to him. Auto-scrollers are like horrible in general. In my Sonic game though, really? I'm sorry, Bridge Zone escaped some of my wrath, but not too much. That's no good. I'm sorry. Like, it was already mid as is, but that auto-scroller, yeah, no. What about the music though? Marble Zone. I haven't played this version and I'm gonna fucking die. If you're gonna die, could you do it in another stream, please? Could you do it in another stream? Thank you. No die. We have a no die. The punishment for dying in my stream is death. I hate how catchy that drum is. Like it always makes me bop my head every time. That. I'm miserable when I'm playing this, but like the music is just like, it's just got me like. This bit as well. I love this bit as well. The way the bass goes, dum 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 dum. Sonic try to have bad music challenge. A level impossible. I'll put it in B. It's definitely quite quirky. I'll put it in the quirky tier. Bridge Zone music is. It's a nice little bop, isn't it? I wouldn't say it's the most memorable, but it's definitely very pleasant to listen to. It feels like the music that belongs to after Green Hill Zone, unlike fucking Marble Zone. I'm going to put this in B as well. With the next zone, Spring Yard. What do we think about Spring Yard, guys? There's definitely a spring there. You know how like most Sonic games have like a casino themed level? I feel like with the bumpers and stuff and like with the colors, I don't know why, I'm getting like proto like casino theme style level. And in the same vein that I really want to talk to the guy who decided to put Marble Zone in the second level, I want to know whose idea this was. There's like, this isn't that bad when it's just like one or two, but like the fact that there's like 4 or 5 or 6 of them throughout the course of the zone, I'm just like, someone programmed this once and was like, yes, we need more of these.
What the fuck is a Sonic?
I always thought, as a kid, this was fake Sonic. I think it's like an armadillo robot. You can just about see it, boom, there. It kind of looks like Sonic, doesn't it? It's like a fake, I always thought it was fake Sonic. But there they are. Oh, shit, they're gone. I didn't really talk about Green Hill Boss because like the Green Hill Boss is not really that interesting, and Marble Zones one's okay, I guess. You just kind of jump across the fire. Boss of Spring Yard at the end of it is Spike one. I think they fixed this in the Origins version, but I think the fact that you can hit him before he even comes down is a bit lame. The whole idea is that he comes down to like take out one of your platforms, and then when he's coming down, you can hit him. I like this as a concept for a boss, and I think as a third boss, I think it does a decent job of being at least decently difficult. I think for a third boss, this is pretty solid. Spring Yard as a whole, though, I don't really rate it that much. Again, those weird lifts just slow down the pacing for like no reason. It's okay. I've never pogged when I've seen this. I've never been excited to play this zone. I never hated this zone. It's just kind of like there. But the third zone in the 8-bit Sonic is the jungle zone. Time to rumble in the jungle. They have these vines, like vine platforms throughout the whole level, which is quite nice. They love going for the coins, don't they? Rings actually. /ban a gentleman 14. It's coins, not ring. The waterfall gimmick is actually really fun because like there's like slow platforms. Some of them are like vertical and horizontal to like, you know, make them a bit more difficult to stand on. I quite like that, honestly. I quite like that about this level. Oh, like there's logs that you can like run on and then they'll just like take you across the water. It's quite creative, honestly. You have to use one to get the Chaos Emerald as well. That's hidden in the level. I quite like that as a concept as well. And then in Act 2, I think they do something quite interesting. The Master System version of this game and the Game Gear version of this game, there's two versions of this game, by the way. They do two different concepts with level 2 of Jungle Zone, and you're climbing up this waterfall slowly but surely. In both versions you are, but in this version what they do is, as you notice, like the screen is constantly going up and up and up. If you fall down at this point, you're dead. Even though there were platforms underneath you, because it's off screen, you die in the Master System version. I never liked that about the Master System version. I like the Game Gear version where if you fall, you just kind of fall to the bottom, really. Like, your punishment is that you have to reset progress. I like the fact that the punishment is resetting progress as opposed to dying. I much prefer that personally. I don't mind platforming levels in my Sonic. I think they're fine, but I think Jungle Zone's quite good. It's quite good. I'll put in a get a load of this. I'll put in the get a load of this tier. I always have fun playing. It's not the best, but I would say B. I'd say it's definitely B tier. What about the musics for both though? Spring Yard's music. What do we think about Spring Yard's music? Melody. Sing it with me, chat. Such a slow jam, isn't it? It's so good. It's fire. It's actually fire. Honestly, it's not quite T-Lobes for me, but it's fucking good. I love Spring Yard's music. Zone 3 for the 8-bit version is Jungle Zone, and Jungle Zone, oh my god, Jungle Zone is a bit of a bop, guys. It's a bit of a bop. You feel like you're in the jungle. You feel like your name's George right now, don't you? I love that little bit. It's a short but solid bop, if I do say so. I'll put it in beautiful. They're doing really good with the music, aren't they? Wow, it's almost as if Sonic games, you're really playing them for one thing so far, isn't it? Crazy how that works. Fourth zone in the 18-bit version is, oh, what the hell? Oh my god, no way. Whose idea? Oh my god. I just want to talk to him. I do. Like, again, the worst part is when I bought the Origins collection for Sonic, right, and I replayed Labyrinth Zone, I really, really wanted to go into it saying, you know, maybe it's not as bad as people think. It's fucking atrocious, man. It's so bad. I'm crying. I'm crying. This is Mario and its consequences. In 1985, when Super Mario came out and revived the gaming industry in America, it set the standard for platformers. Platformers are supposed to have water levels. And 6 years later, if Mario had a water level, we can do water levels too. And for some reason, they thought Labyrinth Zone was acceptable. If anyone is genuinely watching this saying it's not as bad as you're saying, mostly, please replay it. Just please replay it. Just please replay it. It's just not fun. The worst crime, it might not be as bad as you think. It's just not fun. It's not fun being in water when your movement is so slow. It's not fun being in water when like you're there for a limited amount of time. It's not fun platforming. It's just not fun. What I'm about to say is like hashtag so relatable. Oh my god, me. Oh my god, that's so me. Everyone's been in a situation like this when the music's going and then you stand here waiting for a bubble, and it never appears and you fucking die. And the fact that that could even happen is a shocking display of horrible game design.
I'm dead.
That reminds me of an old
thing I saw.
I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear it, chat. I'm not even gonna ask you for your opinion. I don't want to hear you. I don't want to talk to you. Don't look at me. I'm so mad. And then the fucking someone mentioned the boss. What's the boss gonna be? Is it something gonna be like iconic? Is it gonna be something fun? Is it gonna be something crazy? No, the boss is just following Eggman because even Eggman wants to get the fuck out of this zone. Look at him. He's like, I don't want to be in it anymore, bro. I'm getting all high pitched again. Hang on. Even Eggman is like, I don't fucking want to be here anymore. This is the boss, brother. Yep, this is the boss. You just follow Eggman. You've seen in the 8-bit version of Sonic, Marble Zone was the second zone. Like, no, we're gonna go Bridge Zone. Oh, Spring Yard is the third zone. We're gonna go Jungle. For some reason, they're like, let's fucking keep Labyrinth. They're like, yeah, let's just keep Labyrinth because yes, we love that concept. Look, he's doing the thing. He's just waiting. He's waiting for a bubble, and it's never going to appear. Look. You see? It's happening. It's happening. Who was it? Fucking you. You like the bubble? Skeleton. I'm just going to say skeleton because I think it's really funny. Bruv, it's happening right here. Look. It's just not fun. In both 8 bits and non-8 bits, it's just not fun. It's no use. Can the music save these? Oh shit, sorry. I fell asleep. Yes, great music to fall asleep to. Am I the only one that likes a song? Yes, you're literally the only person. The 8-bit guys, they heard this music, right? Even they were falling asleep, so they were just like, you know, if we're gonna make someone go through the worst zone in the game, let's at least make it really fun to listen to. How fun are we talking? Beautiful! I love this version of Labyrinth Zone. It really puts the original 16-bit version to fucking shame. It's fantastic. Well, is the next zone going to be fantastic? We have got Starlight. What do we think about Starlight Zone, guys? Wow. That this really was meant to be level 2. Like, after Green Hill is supposed to be this, because look how fast you can go. This level really lets you go fast again. Do you know what I mean? Then they have this, like, cool gimmick where, like, you run into a fan and then it, like, blows you into, like, it's not crazy, but it's just a really fun level to play on, isn't it? I don't think I've ever taken the lower route before, so I don't think I've seen that bit, personally, but they copied a bit from Spring Yard, you know? It's like you're playing Sonic again, you know? The way it was meant to be played. Like God intended. The boss for Starlight, I actually really like the boss for this. I like the whole idea they went for. Where, like, so he drops, like, spikes onto these things. So you can either, like, hit the other end of the seesaw to, like, send the spike to him, or you can wait until he drops a spike onto your seesaw and then you fling yourself up. Or you can, like, he can fling this spike to the other side and then fling himself up. So that's so good. There's, like, multiple ways to do this boss, and neither of them are, like, the correct way. So, like, he hits him there. See, like, he's trying to wait for Eggman to put one on his platform, but Eggman's not, he's not falling for shenanigans today. Yeah, you gotta do it yourself, brother, man. You gotta do it yourself. It's a fun. I like this zone's boss. This zone's boss is actually really fun. I think it's a hoot and a holler, right? It's a hoot and a holler. I think it's probably a bit too easy for, like, the second to last zone in the game. That's Sega's fault for reordering the zones. But I would say it's A. What does the 8-bit version do? 8-bit version, where are you? Oh, it's Scrap Brain. So for this one, the last zone isn't Scrap Brain for this one. It's the 5th zone. I really like this version of Scrap Brain because it's kind of like it's difficult, just like the 16-bit version is. But also goes for, like, a whole different thing. The whole idea behind, like, Act 1 and Act 2 is, like, it's kind of like maze-like. There's, like, doors that open and shut to, like, lock you out of certain areas. They do that in Act 1 as well and Act 2. And then Act 3 is the whole level is that you have to reach the end before Eggman escapes, really. So I quite like this rendition of Scrap Brain. I think it's really fun. He loves to go for the coins. It's coins. I'm going to keep calling it coins. Coins, yes. It's just like Mario, guys. With all his coins. Difficulty-wise, unlike Starlight, I think it's good on the difficulty fun. I think it's very nice. I'll put it in A. I really like playing on this version of Scrap Brain. I think it's the right amount of difficulty and platforming. I think it's good. It works very well as a 5th zone. What about the musics for both? Starlight. What about the music for Starlight? This is like the sound of happiness, isn't it? If you had to describe happiness to someone with music, it's gotta be this, right? This bit as well, honestly. And then the loop point as well. You can't not have a smile on your face while you're listening to this, right? You just can't. Ba-da-da-da. It's in the T-Lopes tier. You know what? It's the top of S tier. I want to put it on top of S tier, honestly. I want to say it's the best. It's better than Green Hill, honestly. This and Can You Feel the Sunshine? True! This one is Scrap Brain. Scrap Brain music for the 8-bit version. I'm going to touch upon this when I talk about the 16-bit version of Scrap Brain, but I feel like this version of Scrap Brain really suits. Like, it really does feel like you're in a Scrap Brain, do you know what I mean? This really feels like you're infiltrating Eggman's lair, you know? I like the fact that this track is also quite long, because like a lot of the tracks in the earlier zones were quite short, but since this level is quite long, you know, they made this one like 50 seconds before it loops to fit the fact that you're going to be in the zone for a while. I quite liked it, honestly. They made them fit for purpose. I'm going to put it in there. I'm going to put it in there as well. So the zone 6 for the 16-bit one is Scrap Brain. What do you think about Scrap Brain? I definitely don't like the lower part of this, honestly. I never really liked these sections, but you could argue it's intentional since it's a lower path. It's supposed to be quite slow, but this level is definitely hard. Ooh, that was risky. That was a risky move you did right there. Where Scrap Brain, you definitely feel like it's the hardest zone in the game. And rightfully so, honestly. You're right at Eggman's doorstep. I'm not excited to play this zone is what I'm trying to say, right? It fits the final level in terms of the difficulty, but like, I don't think it's particularly memorable, if that makes sense. Could just be me having a moment. Well, it is a bit unfair to compare it to like Titanic Monarch, I suppose, since you know they had like 20 years of Sonic to craft the perfect final zone. But I guess in their first attempt, it was okay. It's a good first attempt at a final zone, you know. When you're thinking of final levels in video games and how iconic they are, Scrap Brain definitely doesn't come to mind. Even though I think it works as a good final like zone because of its difficulty. I think it does the job of being a final zone, and that's it. You know, I think that's what it does. It's solid, so I'll give it a B just for being solid on the game design front. But like, I think, oh yes, it's probably a bit of an over-exaggeration as to how I would actually sound playing Scrap Brain. Scrap Brain is that coworker who comes in, does their job and just leaves. You know what I mean? You don't know anything about him. You don't know his shit, but he does the job. He never complains and just goes home. But the Zone 6 in the 8-bit rendition is, we've got Sky Base Zone. Eggman has a Scrap Brain in this one, but he flies away in his Sky Base.
Future Musty here to add a bit of clarification. In the original stream, I wasn't really too comfortable showcasing any footage of Sky Base, so I didn't really articulate what I like about it too clearly. Mainly because it's an epileptic's absolute nightmare. The only reason I'm able to showcase some of this footage is due to a loving remake crafted by creative Araya. Seriously, these are probably the best ways to experience these games now. I know making fun of the Origins collection is low-hanging fruit, but when you see the SMS remake, the modders well and truly do what Sega don't. This version has an option which includes removing the flashing effects from Sky Base, allowing me to showcase this footage in all its blue glory. Eggman must have created these nodes that channel the thunderclouds up above, causing electric shocks to appear in certain directions. These flashes occur periodically throughout the stage and will impede your progress, so you gotta do a good job avoiding them. Base part of Sky Base, where there's cannons strewn all about, Eggman's enemies all over the place. Combining both the sky and the base really makes for an interesting level where you have to watch where you're going and mind your step. Including this platform section at the end where you have to go on this moving platform, jumping on it stops the platform's progress, which you're gonna have to use to avoid the periodic thunderbolts. All in all, a good first act.
I quite like it. I really like it. And then you go to the Sky Base proper. I was going to do it as well. I actually don't know how this level plays normally, because like, as you've seen from this guy, at the very beginning of the level, there's a platform down below, which you can use to skip the entire level. Like, you have to jump on this one, and then you have to jump to another platform that appears over here. Yeah, you gotta jump from platform to platform. You can, like, secretly just go underneath the whole level, basically. So I don't know if you're supposed to do that. I don't know if that's what you're supposed to do, or if that's how you skip the whole level.
I decided to actually play Sky Base Act 2 instead of skipping it for once. And even without skipping it, you're left with a bit of a disappointment. Playing this stage normally, the first interaction you'll bump into are these cannons in a clock-like pattern sporadically firing and trying to catch you off guard. Simple enough to ascend, but considering you're playing this whole level without any rings, it can be a bit tricky to get your timing right. Once you climb up the ladder to the next section, you'll be met with a spike wall. It'll start closing in on your location, forcing you to run right, and that's when you bump into a bomb that will slowly tick away and detonate. If you didn't run right quick enough, then this bomb will slow down your progress, causing you to get crunched. This interaction can get a bit dicey if you're not prepared for it. Also, on one attempt, the bomb just straight up didn't spawn. That was a bit weird. After running right with nothing happening for a bit longer than you'd like, you hop on this chain link. Does it look familiar by any chance? Yes, this is the exact chain link you end up on when you skip the stage underneath. Just like the skipped version, you jump over these cannons which are easy enough to dodge even with the anxiety of 0 rings, and you make your way to the end of the level. If I had to give some possible reasoning for this, either 1, even the devs thought this was too hard, 2, they were running out of space in the memory, or 3, and I like this game theory the most. Consider this is the second to last level in the game, they wanted to make it relatively easy just in case you were on your last life / had no continues left. Remember this back in the day where if you lose all your lives and you don't ever continue, you go right back to the beginning. Imagine how heartbreaking it would be going through all of this just to lose at the very end. That's my game theory for this relatively short level, and overall, I don't think my ranking on the tier list has changed at all.
I think the first level is enough to put it in B, I would say. What about the music though? What about the music for so Scrap Brain? It's just really, Sonic is not known for this, but it's like the only music in the game I'm just kind of like, I don't know, to be honest. This is why I feel like this version of Scrap Brain does a better job of like sounding like a Final Zone sort of thing, you know? This sounds like a Scrap Brain, but then this kind of just kind of like, I'm not really getting final level vibes from this, do you know what I mean? And then you get like the second part of the song. And then this sounds less like a Final Zone. Like the first bit didn't do it, this second bit isn't, neither, you know? Like it sounds nice. Even if you're not looking at subtitles, this still doesn't sound like a Final Zone, you know? It's okay. I do like the drums, like the drums throughout the whole, like, has been solid. And also, the loop doesn't really do much for me neither. Yeah, it just doesn't really do much for me, personally. I'll just put it in C. They're perfectly balanced. I don't even intend to do that, but I'm just gonna put it in C. It's okay. I hate it when Sonic music is okay, because I usually like fanboying about it. You know how I said I really like Scrap Brains one? Because they made it a bit longer to fit the longness of the stage? Well, this was only, it's like a 20-second loop, this one. This bit always reminded me of Megalovania, like it always like sounds like that a little bit in my head. Even though it doesn't sound like it, it always does that a little bit. Yeah, that's it, that's the loop. This is like a where's the rest of you kind of beat, you know what I mean? It's nice, but like, fuck, it loops too quickly. Where's the rest of you? Is that it, really? Average. Yeah, it's only got an intro and that's it. Like, I can't give you more than a C for just having an intro. None of them are in Sonic fan dub tier. Nice. And I think that's all. I guess in the Sonic tier list, you can also rate the Final Zone, the finale, the epic finale. So where do we stand on the epic finale? See, this sounds like what Scrap Brain probably... Well, I guess to be fair, this sounds more like boss music than final level music, but they're very capable of like making the music fit the theme, because this feels like final boss music, you know? I'm like, oh shit, here we go, okay. There is an element of luck that I don't like in this final boss, if I'm being honest. It's a bit annoying. You kind of have to get lucky with like the orbs here, and you kind of have to get lucky with Eggman placement. You could argue that it's the fact that like it's kind of luck based, keeps you on your toes because you don't know where you're gonna have to be, and because it's the final zone as well, they can kind of get away with that, and it's not so heavy RNG that you're gonna be there like for an hour. Do you know what I mean? You might get really, really unlucky and have to spend like 6 minutes dodging orbs and getting slammed, but like it's very rarely gonna happen. You know? I would say it's a good, not the best, not perfect, not crazy. I think C's fair. I think C's probably fair, honestly. So. I think the music's a bit easier to rate. I'd put the music at like, I put it A. I put the music at A. I think the music does a good job of like really feeling like a final boss theme. So there it is, guys. There's your list. There's Sonic.
And there you have it, Sonic 1. Playing this humble platformer with the history we have now, you'd almost have to make an Oxford professor level lecture in order to describe to the modern gamer that this little fella over here, he had the Goliaths of Nintendo in the 90s shaking in their boots. I don't know if you could tell, but when it comes to just pure game design, I think the plumbers have Sonic beat. But given his carefree, sass-laden attitude and his other idiosyncrasies, it not only feels like he captures an era of video games that we once had, but an era in human history. And that is how playing Sonic 1 feels if I had to describe it in video essay terms. Thank you ever so much for watching. Leave a like before you go. Comment down below your opinions as well, and subscribe for more videos. And until next time, there's your lot.